Alright guys, Piff here. Welcome back. Today, let's talk about my new welding starter kit. For the last few months, I've been very busy clearing out our backyard with my new chainsaw. I planned for a sewage system and dug a septic tank with my new jackhammer. And finally, I built a CCTV and solar lights equipped farm for our future livestock. Plus, I bought a battery cage for our future egg production. Now here's one issue. I only have a makeshift cocoa frame for my cage and it will rot and crumble down as it would be drenched in water every day while cleaning. It would be a lot easier if I just pay someone to make it, but I like it the hard way. And if you're watching this video, it's safe to assume that you are too. If I ever spend another cash again for home stuff, I want to spend it by learning how to do it myself. So I bought a welding machine set. This is actually not sold by set per se, but they are sold from the same seller. And they're exceptionally cheap, which makes it a lot even better. Before we go unboxing and stuff, I want to thank you for checking out this video, and please like if you find this video useful and share it to someone who also wants to know more about these units. I also provided timeline chapters down below if you want to skip the specific info you want to see, and the card links above to know more about my other cheap but reliable tools that I use. And please do subscribe and ring the bell for more future videos like this one. So here's my new welding set. The Kawasaki Mini-200A, Nihonweld welding rods, and the Fujihama T-91 4-inch angled grinder. Let's do this! My starter kit is actually sold individually by the same seller for a total of 3,388 pesos or around 65 US dollars. For a brief backstory, I already have an old Creston AC welding set which was used heavily when I was still building my house a few years ago. Unfortunately, when I started learning on my own, the cables were quite beaten down and melted. I also have an old Black & Decker grinder that overheats all the time and the switch is always stuck. What's left usable are my skill cut-off machine, helmet, leather gloves, and magnetic holder. The first item to come out would be a kilo of Nihonweld Special N6013 welding rods. A perfect companion for a newbie like me because it claims to be safer because it emits less smoke. The next item is the Fujihama T-91 angle grinder. This unit supports 100mm or 4-inch discs. The package includes a free grinding disc, a manual, wow, a set of free carbon brush is also included, an angle grinder wrench, and finally, the Fujihama T-91 angle grinder. The T-91 runs at 12,000 RPM and is rated 540 watts of pure grinding power, suited for most if not all grinding tasks. This package only includes the guard, no side handle included. I guess it would be much more expensive if all of them are there. It would be a good addition though. It has a US plug with 6 feet or 180 centimeters of wire. It has a substantial thickness to it. Here's how to attach the disc. You can replace this with any type of grinding disc as long as they're on the 4-inch variety. You need to hold down the spindle lock and use the provided wrench to lock it in place. And I also like where they place the switch, near the wire at the back. And now, the main part of my welding set, the Kawasaki Mini-200A IGBT inverter welder. It claims to be big in Japan. Well, I can't verify that since I found no official website regarding this. It also claims it can utilize all kinds of welding rods and all other stuff, which as a newbie, I'm not so familiar with. I chose this amperage model since I don't think I'll need more for home use, and the size will also get bigger as the amperage goes up. Speaking of, this unit is really quite small and only weighs 3 kilograms, best for newbie practice. Inside, we have the electrode holder. Unlike my old AC welder, this one is detachable and the polarity can be switched. It is easier to replace the wires this way in case they are damaged during operation. The wire is around 5 feet or 150 centimeters. Next, we have the ground clamp. The quality and length is like with the electrode holder. Again, I'm happy they are detachable. Next, we have a manual. Finally, we have the Kawasaki Mini-200A IGBT inverter welder. In front, we have the analog amperage dial, LED indicators, and the two terminals for our electrode holder and ground clamp. All sides have proper ventilation, with the back having the fan and power switch. The top part is where the specs are printed. I don't really know much about this stuff, but you can help me out by commenting them down below. The adjustable straps are attached to the bumper area, making it very portable like a sling bag if you prefer working that way. It comes with a US plug and 5 feet or 150 centimeters of wire. And here are all my tools. Everything is new here except for the helmet, gloves, and my trusty extension with breaker combo. And now, where to attach which cable. It's really a blessing to check the manual. You can connect the wires using a positive connection or negative connection. It depends on what material you are working on. It can cause issues on the quality of weld if an incorrect polarity is used. And no, it won't break the machine. Here, I'm using negative connection or direct current electrode positive or DECP. This mode is usually used because it gives better quality output than the other. If you're working with thin metal sheets, use direct current electrode negative or DECN to avoid burn through. In my case, I'll practice with the DECP mode and hopefully get to master my own welding technique. Here's my rod. Place it in holder, clamp the ground to the workpiece, plug to the outlet, turn on the breaker, turn on the switch, dial starting 80 amps, helmet, gloves, Here goes my 100th try. Lol, I'm just trying to make a straight line as by training. I guess that's straight enough. I'm ready. The purpose of the grinder is to grind or smoothen the irregularities of the weld. Let's test it. I guess it works. Oops, a big newbie mistake. Never wear shorts while grinding, and it stings a bit. Let's talk about safety first. I made some novice mistakes while testing, and metal shards were all over my legs. My index finger got burned bad twice, and one of my wires melted because I was freaking welding near the wires. I don't want you guys to experience all of them. So before doing some welding or grinding, be sure your power source and wires or your other equipment are away from your workpiece, and you don't want to damage or melt away the wires or your other equipment while working, so be sure to keep them away. Next, keep your wires away from wet areas. An electrical shock can be fatal and very dangerous. Next, be sure to clear your work area first before going to work, and look out for fire hazards, especially wood, paper, flammable gas or liquids, or other stuff that may burn down. Next is to wear protective equipment all the time. That includes but not limited to your welding helmet. A full face welding helmet works best to avoid arc eye, and it's the most common thing that will happen to novices while welding. It makes your eyes irritated for days because of radiation, so be sure to have your welding glasses with you. I also bought auto darkening glasses. It hasn't arrived yet, so for you guys, you better get one because for those new in welding, it's very hard to weld using the traditional welding glasses. Wear goggles if you are grinding. Protect your eyes from those tiny metal shards. And yes, never wear shorts while grinding. I found about it the hard way. You should be very careful while handling the workpiece. Even though they don't look that hot, they're not glowing hot, they can be very hot and may burn you. You can use leather gloves to protect your hands from being burned, because you might think your workpiece is alright to touch because it's not glowing hot. You will know it when you touch it, and it will be too late. Overalls should be the best option to wear, but if you don't have it, you can use an old jacket or jeans to protect your arms from being burned and metal shards from sticking on your skin, like what happened to my legs. With that cleared out, let's get to work. I'll try changing discs. This one is for cutting tiles, but it can also cut metal if you are really desperate. Note to all, always use the appropriate disc for the appropriate task. I'm using my old Tolson magnetic holder to make a perfect 90 degrees angle. These are pretty handy and should be in your inventory. As long as it holds, it's good enough. I know it's kinda rough, but yeah, it's my first. Here's the final form. Finishing off with a red primer. My top layer battery cage frame is now done. If you made it this far, thank you. This is my honest newbie review. The good part, I should start with the welder. The Kawasaki Mini-200A is super portable and lightweight. It very much looks like a computer AVR. It only took me half a day to form the complete frame. Half a day. What a newbie! And it didn't overheat. It's probably because of the fan and the good ventilation, a good design in general. And I also tried it with other rods available in our area. And yeah, it works as they claim. For the grinder, this is my third grinder by the way. All I can say is that it addressed the overheating problem of my old grinder. I only stopped grinding when the grinding disc was already too small to work on. I just need to stock up on the disc. And I also like the flip switch at the back part. Not like the traditional switch in the middle of a grinder. I like the switch at the back. Another good thing about them is that both units are cheap, as in very cheap. Back in the day, I bought my old Creston AC welder. The inverter type welders are more than 10,000 pesos, and that's around $200 in today's money. Here in the Philippines, that's a lot. And as with the grinder, most are now also 1,500 pesos or more. Less than a 1,000 peso grinder is very cheap. And for the welding rods, they claim to have less smoke. I think they did, compared to my other rods that were purchased locally in our area. And here's the bad part. Unfortunately, I can't verify the authenticity of the units. You don't seem to have an official website for reference. Just hit me up in the comments if you find one.
Manong napang may bati.
I highly recommend the Kawasaki Mini-200A for beginners like me. It is so portable, you won't have a problem moving it around, so you can focus on learning how to weld. And if you're an advanced welder, this one is a good addition to your tools. I have my friendly neighborhood welder. His name is Jemar. Yo, he liked this machine very much. He's the first one to introduce me to this unit. He said, they are great for home repair and will probably last doing large complicated projects as long as you give it a rest once in a while. The same goes with the Fujihama grinder. But then again, if you're a newbie, never do my mistakes. Prioritize safety. Start welding with a comfortable position and just be patient. Manual hard work is still manual hard work. And that's it for now. I'm really sorry, I'm very busy doing my day job as a teacher. I got a new office at my school and I'm still getting myself comfortable with my new area. I was doing work from home software development work for DECP for years. I just got back to school last month. Plus, I'm also working my way as a backyard farmer. So just comment in the comments what you want to ask and I promise to get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you guys. See you on the next one. God bless.